the Tennessee Titans are collapsing in real time. An 0-3 start, 9 straight losses stretching back to last season, and a humiliating 41-20 home defeat have turned hope into alarm. Tonight we ask the hard question, is it time to fire Brian Callahan? Before we dive into the breakdown, if you want blunt, fast NFL analysis, hit subscribe and tap the bell. We'll be here first when the Titans make a move. Now let's get into how this mess unfolded. Coming up, the cold facts you can't ignore. Tennessee's slide isn't a fluke. The offense ranks near the bottom of the league, historically poor passing numbers, an anemic rushing attack, and scoring that simply won't win games. Fans chanted, "Fire Callahan," during halftime of a Ring of Honor ceremony, and the stadium's patience is gone. The result, mounting pressure on a head coach whose decisions are under a microscope. Next, the coaching mistakes that turned close games into blowouts. Indecision on fourth downs, missed challenges, timeout confusion and delay of game penalties have cost points and momentum. Play calling and halftime adjustments have failed to correct obvious problems, and opponents are exploiting Tennessee's chaos every week. These aren't isolated mistakes, they're patterns that point to leadership breakdown. Up next, how this affects Cam Ward and the roster's future. With a new general manager in place and the fan base erupting, Callahan's seat is scorching hot. The franchise now faces a fork: trust the coach to fix it, or pivot and start anew. This decision could define the franchise for years to come. What do you think? Keep him or fire him? Drop your call in the comments. Stay tuned, if Tennessee makes a change, we'll break it down immediately. Fan frustration has reached a boiling point in Tennessee. During halftime of the last game, with a Ring of Honor ceremony honoring Mike Keith, the chants echoing through the stadium weren't celebratory, they were sharp and unforgiving: "Fire Callahan." When your own fans are louder about firing the coach than celebrating one of the most respected voices in the franchise, it tells you everything about the mood in Nashville. The patience of this fan base has run out, and every loss only adds fuel to the fire. But it's not just the fans. Reports and on-field body language suggest the locker room is also losing faith. Players appear sluggish, going through the motions instead of attacking with urgency. Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman went on record saying the Titans looked like they didn't even want to be there before kickoff. That's a devastating indictment, not only of the roster's energy, but of the head coach's ability to inspire his team. When players stop buying in, it shows up in the details. Missed tackles, weak pursuit, lack of communication, all signs that a locker room isn't pulling in the same direction. Once motivation fades, even the most talented rosters collapse under the weight of doubt. This is where the Titans now stand, a fan base demanding change, and players who no longer seem to believe. The question becomes unavoidable: if the team isn't fighting for its coach, how much longer can the front office stand by him? Stay with me, because up next we'll dive into the offensive collapse that has turned this team into one of the worst statistical units in the entire NFL. The Titans' offense has fallen into complete collapse, ranking among the league's worst across nearly every statistical category. They sit 31st in total yards per game, dead last in passing offense with barely over 130 yards per contest, and 28th in rushing. Scoring hasn't been much better, as Tennessee is mired in the bottom tier, averaging only 17 points a game. These numbers aren't just bad, they paint a picture of an offense incapable of competing at the NFL level. The struggles extend beyond the stat sheet. Big-name acquisitions like Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett have failed to deliver. Ridley, once a 1,000-yard receiver, has been nearly invisible, reduced to just a single catch in key games. Lockett, brought in for veteran stability, looks like age has caught up with him. Instead of elevating the offense, these veterans have become symbols of how far expectations and reality have drifted apart. The lone bright spot is rookie Alec Manor. Despite the chaos around him, he has shown flashes of star potential, making plays that hint at what the future could hold. But one rookie can't carry an entire offense. Without reliable weapons and a functioning scheme, even Cam Ward's development is being stunted. The bottom line is clear: this offense is broken, and no amount of individual flashes can hide the dysfunction. And when an offense is this ineffective, it's only a matter of time before fingers point back to coaching. Coming up, we'll break down the critical game management errors that have defined Brian Callahan's tenure and cost Tennessee winnable games. Brian Callahan's coaching has been under fire not just for results, but for the way games are slipping away because of his decisions. Poor clock management and hesitation on critical downs have repeatedly turned opportunities into disasters. In the NFL, where seconds matter, these mistakes are magnified, and the Titans have paid the price. The examples pile up quickly. Timeouts are being wasted early in halves, leaving the team helpless when the clock becomes tight late in the game. Delay of game penalties, sometimes even coming out of a timeout, have cost Tennessee valuable yards and turned manageable field goals into long, low-percentage attempts. In one instance, indecision between going for it on fourth down or kicking a field goal led to chaos, a penalty, and a missed kick. Instead of points, the Titans handed momentum to their opponent. Missed challenges are another recurring theme. Plays that could have been overturned are allowed to stand because of hesitation or misunderstanding of the rules. For a head coach, failing to act in those moments isn't just tactical, it signals a lack of command. Players feel that uncertainty, and it ripples through the entire team. These aren't isolated incidents. They're patterns that highlight a coach overwhelmed by the moment. And when every week brings another headline about mismanagement, the evidence builds that Tennessee's struggles aren't only about talent, but about leadership. Next, we'll examine how these errors have bled into the locker room, creating doubts among the players and raising questions about whether Callahan has already lost control of his team. The problems in Tennessee aren't limited to play calling or schemes, they run deeper, right into the heart of the locker room. Opponents are noticing it too. Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman didn't mince words after their matchup, saying the Titans looked sluggish and unmotivated even before kickoff. For a rival player to openly call out a team's energy level speaks volumes. It's not just about losing games, it's about how the Titans are showing up to play them. That lack of urgency is spilling over onto the field. Defensive effort has been under heavy scrutiny, with glaring examples like Jonathan Taylor's long touchdown run where multiple Titans missed tackles, turning what should have been a routine stop into a backbreaking score. Plays like that aren't just about talent, they reflect mindset. When tackling becomes optional, it's a sign players aren't fully bought in. These issues suggest something far more troubling than just a slow start. A sluggish team, sloppy execution, and visible lapses in effort point to a coach who no longer has his roster's full attention. And once a locker room begins to tune out its leader, recovery becomes nearly impossible. The cracks are already visible, and if they spread further, Tennessee risks a complete collapse. Up next, we'll turn to rookie quarterback Cam Ward, who is showing flashes of talent but is being dragged down by the dysfunction surrounding him. Amid the chaos in Tennessee, one storyline still offers a glimmer of hope: rookie quarterback Cam Ward. Despite the Titans' struggles, Ward has shown signs of real promise. His arm talent and poise are evident, and even in tough situations he's managed to make plays that suggest he could grow into a legitimate franchise quarterback. But the environment around him is stunting that growth. He's been sacked more than any quarterback in the league so far, a direct result of a broken offensive line that can't protect him long enough to work through progressions. Even when he does get the ball out, receivers aren't helping him. Veterans like Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett are dropping passes, turning potential completions into wasted drives. What should be opportunities to build confidence are becoming moments of frustration. On top of that, the coaching staff hasn't given Ward the stability or structure he needs. Questionable play calling and poor in-game adjustments have left him exposed, forced into situations that set him up to fail rather than succeed. For a rookie, that kind of environment can be damaging, and it raises serious concerns about his long-term development if things don't change quickly. Ward's potential is undeniable, but potential can only go so far without support. To truly develop into the quarterback Tennessee hopes he can be, he needs a system that protects him, receivers who step up, and leadership that knows how to nurture young talent. Without those changes, the Titans risk wasting one of the few bright spots in an otherwise disastrous season. Coming up, we'll close by examining what all of this means for Brian Callahan's future, and why a change at the top may be inevitable. Brian Callahan's record has now sunk to historically poor levels, and that fact alone is enough to put his future in jeopardy. When a coach is piling up losses at this pace, it becomes harder and harder to argue that patience will turn things around. The numbers don't lie, and they paint the picture of a leader who hasn't been able to deliver results. The bigger issue is that the Titans look completely directionless. Fans are openly voicing their anger, players are showing signs of frustration, and the organization as a whole feels stuck in neutral. There's no clear identity on offense, no signs of steady improvement, and no indication that the team is buying into the current vision. When both the stands and the locker room lose faith, the writing is on the wall. All of this leads to one conclusion: a coaching change feels inevitable. With a new general manager already in place, the franchise has the perfect opening to reset and find a leader who can restore discipline, energy, and direction. Callahan may not be dismissed mid-season, but it's becoming increasingly clear that the Titans will be looking for a new head coach once 2025 comes to an end. That decision could reshape the future of the team, determining whether Cam Ward develops into the star he has the potential to be, or becomes another young quarterback wasted in the wrong system. The pressure is building, and the clock on Brian Callahan's tenure is running out.